So, sorry, not very good lighting in here. My name is Allison. I'm 34. I will be 35 in July. And I used to live with, I suffer from multiple sclerosis. It is a disease that does not discriminate. No two people that have it have experienced exactly the same symptoms. I try to be really positive because, you know, it's already negative enough living with it. I feel a lot of times like when I talk about it that people hear the words coming out of my mouth, but they don't understand. It's hard to explain. And I have been taking the Tysabri infusions for over 2 years now. I had been on prior medications such as the pill form Aubagio, and I did the Rebif injections for about 6 months. There isn't a cure for multiple sclerosis, and all medicines, pill form, shots, infusions are all experimental disease modifying therapies that the Tysabri in particular, keeps like the white blood cells in my body from entering my brain and spine, thus causing further damage if they did. And it also completely suppresses my immune system, which with multiple sclerosis, if your immune system is active, it's constantly attacking your body, or in my case, it was. And I was very sick when I found out that I had MS, and I had had the symptoms and signs of it for years, but it being such an uncommon, I guess, disease, my doctors at the time never thought, that I had MS. And just a brief summary of what it's been like for me. I'm not a perfect person. I never have claimed to be. I've made a lot of mistakes in life, and I also have a lot of time to reflect. And I think now, over 3 years into my diagnosis, even though I'm pretty sure I had it for a long time before then, it just wasn't, the tests weren't done, it wasn't diagnosed as that. I think now I'm in this stage somewhat of anger as the disease progresses, and I miss like the life I had. Like, I had so much, I'd worked so hard and had so much going for me and so many goals, and you can't still plan a future with this disease. I can't tell someone they plan something 6 months from now. I can't say, yeah, sure, I'll go, because at this stage in mine, there's too numerous to count lesions on my MRIs of my brain and my spine, which is terrifying. And this last set I had a couple weeks ago, I wanted to see the damage myself. I remember what the images from the MRIs looked like when I was first diagnosed. And I had hope, that maybe not much further damage was done, being on my suppressed immune system and everything. And Boy, was I wrong. It was horrifying. I'm not trying to be sad. It was just horrifying to see some of those images. I mean, it looked like in my frontal lobe, which has holes now and everything, that somebody had taken like a meat tenderizer mallet to it. That's the only way I know to describe it. I mean, there was all these bright spots of active lesions, dark spots, and the way that they wrote out the report and used all the medical terminology and gigantic words, it takes me longer, like, to look up what each term means and try to piece it together, and that I just wanted to see the pictures for myself because I could understand that better. And I mean, it's changed my life in so many ways. I mean, it was just like a huge culture shock for me. It was like I didn't even know what multiple sclerosis was. Nobody in my family, to my knowledge, had it or been diagnosed with it. So, being admitted to the hospital for 8 days and ran through all these tests after MRIs, and that was back in 2014. And then them finally saying, well, they first said I had brain cancer. And then later that week diagnosed me with multiple sclerosis, and I knew what brain cancer was. But multiple sclerosis, I mean, I was like, what is that? So they brought me like this information packet, I guess, to sit there and read, which was hard for me because I've had a visual disturbance issues from the beginning. Double vision, blurred vision, right eye not working at all. The strain, no glasses have helped me, not even with the Fresnel prisms, because by the time, my glasses would come in, the 3 different sets that I have, my eyes had changed again, and wearing them the way they were set, like with the Fresnel prisms, were actually making my eyes worse. And so I just don't wear them at all. And it's weird, it's so frustrating. It's like I experience vision loss in my right eye. And my left eye is all the time like overactive, I guess, like trying to compensate for my right eye. So this is my good eye, but this whole side of my face stays numb. If the lighting's not good, if it were, you could tell like this whole side of my mouth droops and doesn't move when I talk. It's like my mouth is over here. So that's embarrassing. And there's so many fears that I have with it. I mean, I live alone with my little dog. All I knew in life before being diagnosed was that, my parents taught me from a young age that if you want anything, you need to work for it. Nothing in this life is just handed to you. You've got to go out and work and get what you want in life, and that's what I did. I mean, I worked in a factory for over 10 years. A hot, horrible place in the summertime, but I made good money and was able to buy a nice, dependable vehicle, and my own house I was paying for. And sometimes I just think back that had they have ran these tests to diagnose this when I started first complaining of the symptoms and signs of it, I just sit there and think there's so many decisions that I would have made differently, as far as trading in a trailer that I lived in that was paid for one that, I had to make a payment on, because I lost that shortly after being in the hospital. I mean, I was only getting half pay from work and then short-term disability from work. And then that stopped, and my whole disability process took 2.5 years for me to get approved. And by that time, I had spent all the money in my 401k that I had saved. I planned to retire and not move to, but travel the world, see places I'd always wanted to see, go on a cruise. So many things. I've been sick most of my life with different things. I even had to have a complete hysterectomy when I was 24, and that was bad enough because I never had children. I love children. I've always wanted them. But I was not prepared to battle something like this. And I have good days and I have bad days. Here recently, it seems like more bad days than good. I never know each day how I'm going to wake up, and I try to make the best of it. But any person in this situation cannot be 100% happy, joy all the time. Because I have too much time to think, and it's just depressing. I'm undateable, which people really, in my opinion, don't date anymore anyway. Thanks to social media, it's too easy to be talking, a guy or female, be talking to several people at once. It's just competition, and I don't have anything to compete with. I'm just me. I'm a real person, and I express myself a lot verbally. I don't like hide my feelings, but I can't find that, in a male partner. And it leaves me feeling, not good enough. People will tell me, oh, you have time now to date and everything. And I'm just kind of like, it's not that easy with MS, and there's never a good time to bring up that I have MS. If I start off with that, then that might scare them, be like, oh, well, she's just looking for money or what. No, I take care of myself, barely, with my SSDI, but I survive, and I have to depend on myself and take care of myself, and taking care of my little dog I've had since the beginning of this gives me a purpose every day when I wake up. But it's scary with an unpredictable illness that I never know. Like, I'm terrified to go to sleep. I'm terrified that the next day when I go to get up, I may not be able to walk. And it's scary to live in fear every single day of your life, not knowing. I know there's no cure, but when I saw these images from my MRI, I guess I was more or less shocked. I don't know what I expected. We all expect a miracle. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants to be sick with anything, but I did not expect my brain and spine stuff to look that bad, because I have felt better in some ways with these Tysabri infusions, but it's just, I'm just tired. It's like, it seems when you do things in life, you do it to benefit you, like your health, or when you work to benefit your quality of life. And I felt like with these infusions that it would, I don't know, I know there's not a cure. I just figured maybe I wouldn't have as much disease progression, like it would slow that down. And I get so sick easily because of no immune system. It makes me fearful to leave my home, like during flu season and whatnot, because something like that could potentially kill me. You know, it sucks just having to live in fear every day of everything, just being extra careful. Like, I'm a wash my hands type of a freak person. Now it's like I'm fearful, and people that you're around, like in social settings, I don't do that very often. That's another reason about dating too. Like, if I was like, "Are you sick? Have you recently been sick?" Nobody wants to put up with being asked all that. So yeah, I've pretty much come to the realization that I'm undateable because I'm tired of putting myself out there and getting rejected or hurt, which happens to people whether you're sick or not. But it's just this disease is very lonely. I think I've posted a video about that before. It's very isolating and lonely. And it's very hard to explain to my, family and friends and stuff what I'm going through, because I've always had these visual disturbances and fatigue, and I just wish there was a cure for MS. And I keep hoping, that God will one day just heal me or make it stop progressing. Because some days I'm not suicidal, but some days it's just hard to deal with. It's like, okay, I can't work. My doctors will not let me work doing anything. I can't work. I can't have children. I'm pretty much undateable, and I'm very sick. And where do I go from here? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to. It feels like Groundhog Day, the movie. Like, I wake up and every day it's just the same thing. And every day I just get a little bit more tired. And right now I'm in excruciating back pain. But it just completely changed me. This disease took over me, a person that was working, paying for things the honest way, had future plans. I wanted to adopt children. Since I couldn't have them, that's totally out of the question at this point. Because I do good to take care of myself, and I've always been like this strong person that's never depended on anyone or asked anyone to help me or anything. That's also very demeaning. And I try still not to bother or interrupt people's lives, and I just feel like I'm a ghost. Like I don't exist anymore unless something really bad happens to me with this illness, or I need to go to an appointment or something, and I am a prisoner in my own body, in my own mind. I hate taking pictures because of the way my face looks here on the side. Like, it just won't. I don't know. So I see a lot of people posting about what their MS is like, and I don't know if this video will help someone feel like they're not alone. That's my hope for it. And because I feel like I don't connect with anyone because they can't understand why I'm tired, or why sometimes I'll sleep for a couple days and still be tired, why I can't always walk around even Walmart or a shopping mall without my legs just going completely numb and hurting. And it's just, so I just try to avoid those kind of events. I'm tired of explaining myself. I feel like I spend more time explaining myself and saying I'm sorry and not even knowing why than anything. But this is part of my MS story, so thank you for watching.